Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video we'll be teaching you how to play Chopin's Etude, Opus 25, number 9, also known as Butterfly Etude. The first thing that you should know is the G flat major scale, and it's like this. And knowing that scale is going to allow you to understand the melody. So the melody is going to start on a B flat, and then we're going to have a chromatic scale taking the B, the C, and the D flat. Notice that the only note that doesn't pertain to the G flat major is the C. That's C, and then there. And then we're going to go. Okay? As you can see here, all this melody is outlining the first chord of the scale, G flat major. You see the B flat, chromatic scale. You see the D flat there, and then you can tell there. That's all that there is there. But you have to think a little bit on the chromatic scale and on the thumb. The fingers for this is gonna be always first finger for the melody in this case, and then we're gonna go first finger on C, and then D flat. We went up chromatically to D flat, and now we're gonna use step to descend, and then an interval of a fifth to get us back to the G flat that is from the main chord. Alright, now once we have the melody, we could start doing a little bit tenuto there, and then short note. Notice that is tenuto, which means to hold a little extra, and then short, hold a little extra, short, and then a little bit more there. Also, we can count 1, 2, these pieces in 2, so we have 1, 2, 1, and then continues there. Now, to complicate a little bit the thing, we're gonna start taking this as an octave, and we have B flat now, and we add octave to everything we play now. So we have tenuto note, short, tenuto note, short, tenuto note. Okay? Notice I put 1 4, then 1 5, 1 5, 1 4, and then here I'll do 1 5 and then 1 4 here. And then once I reach G flat, 1 4. Okay, we're almost there with the Etude. So octaves. It's important that you make a distinction between the articulation tenuto, short tenuto, short tenuto. Okay. Now that we have that, we could start adding a little bit of things from the harmony. I mentioned G flat major, and what we'll use, we have the octave. We're gonna add that G flat in between from the chord, and that's what we do. So we have long, short, long. Now notice here there is an A flat in the middle, and if you use the G flat major, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you go to the 5th chord and you have D flat. That's why when we have D flat here, we also have A flat in between. Okay? And then we descend. And then here we notice an E flat, which is another chord. We'll discuss that later. So we started like this. We take the full chord now based on this G flat major, and we hold it. Hold it. Alright, that's all we have there. You can start practicing this by itself with accents. Accent there, and let go. And don't forget that the first beat is strong, and the second beat is lighter, Okay, now the technique he's gonna use on the entire etude is 2 notes blending, legato notes. So you have to press this one, and then as you play the next one, let go. But these two later, they are detached. Hold it here, So in other words, we break it down, the first chord that we had. Okay? And that will give you a melody. It's important also that you think a little bit on the thumb. I think based on the shape that the hand takes, your thumb is almost in an angle, so you always have a tendency to bring that out by itself, so you don't have to worry too much. Okay? He write piano and leggero. So what we have to do is two motions. You have the first one where you blend in, and then you have detach, detach, blend in, detach, detach, blend in. And the fingers we have 1 and 2, 4. 1, 5, 1, 5, 1 and 2, 4. 5, 1 and then 4, 1 and then also same here. Okay? Now there are ways to practice this. I enjoy very much because it's a group of 4 notes divided in 2 notes. So I might do an accent in the first one, line it up in this one, yum, bum, accent, let go, yum. Okay? Or we could do the opposite. In this case, it kind of matches the change of articulation, the accent, because emphasize here, we have the legato notes and then detach, emphasize that one, that is different articulation, emphasize, yum, oh, it matches that. But you will also, as you land on this, those are the pivots of the hand, the second and the fourth finger, it's important to make an accent so those fingers get stronger as you play it. And don't have to emphasize it when you play it, but it's important that you do so when you practice so they don't get neglected. And notice how the hand goes up on those. So you could do the accent there, 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 there. You got the first one. Now you get rid of the accents and you emphasize every 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Alright? So after that you get rid of the accent and you start doing rhythm. So you could do slow and fast. If you cannot do that like that, remember you could do slower. Pum 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 pum. Do the opposite. Or do all 4 of them. As a hand position, I think what you have to think is take this as a chord and you go down on the thumb, and as you go up, you kind of, when you practice, close the thumb a little bit to relax, and then play the octaves, open up, relax the thumb there, and take the next one. And also there's 2 types of wrist movement. One that is down like this. So you should use when you blend them in, that movement, but then once you get to this, you have this other motion. So it's down like this, but also this one. So you could practice with both kind of motions. So here we have the first one, which is like this. But then when you take these 2 movement from the wrist, very relaxed, relax there. So in other words, make a distinction between this, where your wrist does this, and make a distinction when your wrist does this. So, I think that doesn't create any problems. Remember, sometimes when you do the first rhythm, you have much to do there. You try to emphasize that note. See? But when you do the second rhythm, try to relax the thumb there. And maybe your hand should do like a little circle going up. Alright, that's all there is for the first measure. Now, as we have here, as I mentioned, the first chord, the scale G flat, what he's going to do is take it right here and then add an extra note, double up the G flat. So he has this and then break it. That's pretty cool. So it's a down movement here and then up. Fairly simple. Now, when he goes to the D flat, 5th chord of the scale, he's going to do it this way. F, which is here, put it here. A flat, which is here, D flat. Then you can see it there. And you can punch it and then up. 4 to 1. So 5, 4 to 1. And then we get to E flat on the next measure. So we have. Alright, and we have 5 and then 3 to 1. 5 and then 4 to 1. That's all there is. And it's important that you kind of feel like pum, pi, and this other chord a little lighter. So pum, pi. You could pedal that one if you want. So that means you play a little pedal, play pedal down and let go. Okay. Now once you do it together, we match this. Then we have by itself here, match here, and then match here. So every other note matches. And that's it. Remember the touch and to sing inside if you can't. And it's very light, but when you're practicing it's okay. Accents. Every other note, or you could do 4 notes and use the pedaling at the same time, and they start coming out. That's what you want. So if you get a little bit of tension, try to review those movements like I mentioned. For instance, the down and up here, and then down here and then up. And when you do all 4, it's a movement that starts here but allows you to play all of them. So I go down on this one, but then up, up, up. Down on this one, up, up, up. Down on this one. And I want to hit. See that? And then make a distinction. Slur notes, those two, and then short, short slur notes. Okay. For the bass, this down up movement, down up is fairly simple. No problems there. Let's do it one last time together. All this measure. And sometimes if you want to hear the inside note, just for fun, or you want to hear the top notes and then put it all together. And that tenuto note is important because it allows you to rest. And once you start playing quicker, you get that. Okay? Now let's continue. The next part is the same pretty much. You have this G flat, and then the melody is gonna go chromatically to B flat. See, chromatic, same movement applied. Then we have this, and a 5th down. So, make a distinction again. Tenuto, short notes, chromatically up, tenuto, that's important. And then we start adding up the octaves. I like 1/4. And then here 1/4 again. So let's say 1/4, 1/4, 1/5, 1/4, and then 1/5, and 1/4. So and we get there. Now, as I mentioned before, when you have the G flat, now we have to find a chord that matches that. So I'm going to do this slowly again. So 1/4, 1/5, A, B flat, 1/4, 1/5, 1/4, and then 1/4. Now let's add the chord. If you go to the 6th chord, you have E flat minor there, and that's why he adds at the beginning that E flat on the 2nd finger, then keeps going. Now this one he's going to also add an F. And that comes from the 3rd chord, B flat minor. So that's why you have the F in between when you play B flat. So E flat minor, 6th chord, and then B flat minor. Okay? So then explains why to the octaves. here he had the E flat, and then here he has the F, and that's it. Then he changes again. So practice like that. The full chord, detached note, change of articulation, tenuto, again detached note, and change again. Now all we do is split them up like we did before. So we go down here, up, and then detach, detach, go down here, up. Yum, bum, you notice sometimes when I go to do this, go a little higher, or you could think a rotation, but if you rotate, your thumb will be too far out to play the A flat. So you have little time to rotate a little bit if you want to consider that. You could do that to relax. So it's a motion of up, a little bit of rotation, close the thumb a little bit to relax, and then play this. To practice same ways. Accent. Accent on the other one. Or every four. And then do the rhythms. Opposite. 4 notes. So after you practice with rhythms and accents, then you start looking a little bit the same motions. How do I want to move? So the down always on the tenuto note, the up on the 2 notes upstairs, and you could also kind of move towards it, a little bit of rotation but not too much. Make sure when you practice try to relax the thumb, even though I know you have to play it right after E flat. Try to close the hand, so that gives you a little bit of relaxation, even though you're going to be able to close very little. Then the change of articulation. Remember, octaves are always down movements. Down, down. Relax there. Down, down. You know. Now when you subdivide it in 2, you notice that if I do this, I could close the thumb. Relaxed right after. Relaxed right after. You could do that, or you could do the opposite. You could do. And then do all 4, which is the way it's gonna be. So, and practice by the motion. That means the motion starts here, and you have to try to play all 4 notes here, and then all 4 notes. Sometimes you could change. Instead of starting quick, you could start slow and get to the tenuto note, or the opposite. You could do 3 notes, 2 notes quick, and say you got get to the octave like that, or you could do all of them just to get you used to what is gonna feel a fast speed eventually. Okay, so we mentioned the 6th chord, E flat, so that's what we'll do on the left hand. And if you check the left hand, you have E flat on the bass there, you have this version of the chord, G flat, B flat, E flat. So 5, 3, 2, 1, and we punch it just like we did before. Okay, that's the 1st chord of the 2nd one. Now when you go here, I mentioned B flat minor, so what we'll do is put the D flat downstairs here, and then we have F, B flat, F. If you can reach it, that's fine, but I'll do this 5th finger here, and then 4, 2, 1. Sometimes this could feel tense, but once you go up to speed, you tense up for a second, and then for a millisecond, and then you let go. So it feels good anyway. So, and remember, pim pom tom, pim pom pom. That's all we have. Then we get here. All right. Technique-wise, it's the same. Only this interval is a little wider. Sometimes you could think a little bit more louder than D flat just to get you here, but it's fairly simple. Now for the whole entire left hand, it's important that sometimes when you have this, that once you play it, you move. So that way you don't miss it, see? Here I don't have to do anything, but here I could move quickly, move quickly, move quickly. More quickly, more quickly. That's how you get there. Alright, let's match them together. So the important thing is matching them, even though if you don't do the articulation right. So let's say if I hold a little extra here to match it, that's fine. Here, D flat and B flat matches. Every other note matches. And that's it. Let's play both bars very slowly. Detach, 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 tenuto no, yam pandirum pambi. I could even do it a little slower, so together there, together here. Sometimes you could read the top notes just for practicing purpose. To make it so the lower note sounds more than the other, you lighten up on the top notes. So in other words, you go towards this. So I hope this video was helpful, and if you enjoyed, subscribe. Also, thank you very much, and all my supporters from Patreon, buy me a coffee.